Hello everyone, welcome to the NITRUS Talk. There is something about the batch of 2000. Even during our meets, we would see their camaraderie and enthusiasm. So here also we have two people from 2000 batch, Gajendra Pandey and Balraj Singh. They have run marathons. So we want to learn from them how to prepare for marathons, some basic information on joining the marathons. And incidentally, this is the third NITRUS Talk of Gajendra. He was in the first one about career, then he gave one on nutrition, and now the marathon. So with that, I will let Gajendra and Balraj take over. Please take it away.
Thank you, Rahul sir. Before we start, I'm just going to read a little bit disclaimer here. So this talk is intended for informational and educational purpose only and does not constitute professional medical fitness or nutrition advice. The host, Rahul sir, and speakers Balraj and myself are not licensed health professionals. Listeners should consult with a qualified health care provider or fitness expert before starting any new exercise program or making changes to their fitness routine. Participation in the physical activity involves risk of injury. By following the tips and advice shared in this talk, so you do so at your own risk. So since that is out of the question now, so let's start our talk. So the way we are thinking about keeping this talk is more like a conversational, more like a podcast. We have kind of prepared few questions, and Balraj and myself, we are going to discuss and share our thoughts on it. And after that, as Rahul sir said, few people have submitted some questions, so we will try to answer that at the best of our knowledge. And then we will take up the questions from the audience. All right, so as Rahul sir said, both of us, Balraj and myself, we are from the batch 2000 by 2K batch. Okay, and we both run marathons. We started running, we started training, and we kind of share our passion and try to from time to time we try to pull over each other's leg and try to keep us grounded. So thanks Ballu for that. And so Balraj is from metallurgy and I'm from mechanical. And so Ballu, let's start with your brief introduction of your running journey. Let's start with that.
Absolutely, Gajen. Thank you. And thank you, Rahul sir. Thank you everyone for joining today, by the way. My voice is a little bad today, so please pardon me. I'm coming out of flu, but beyond that, I think it should be okay. So apart from the quick introduction that Gajju and Rahul sir gave, like computer batch, metallurgy, like all of us, I'm also a professional working in IT services, IT sales professional for working primarily for the banking. We all are busy, and somewhere my running journey started from my consciousness about the health, because I also do the sitting job like many of us. Was gaining weight and multiple things, right? So started running a little bit along with some of the gym training, and that was about it. I think I would go a little deeper when we go more in the discussion, but my running was very limited, maximum up to 3, 4 miles, 5 miles at some point of time. Was able to achieve my health goals or the weight management goals with that. And at some point, I increased my running, or I started running, or started thinking about marathons. So that's how I kind of increased from my normal running to more. Like I said, I think we'll go a little deeper onto that. But I run mainly. I started running mainly for the health reasons to start with. Getting over to you. I think we wanted to keep it introductions brief, and then we can delve.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, my running journey same as Balraj, started for the health reason. And back in 2011, 2012, I was a kind of a moderately heavy smoker as well. So I think I was gaining a lot of weight, and the thing was picking running. The reason for that was essentially focusing on my cardio, right, and forcing smoking out of my my habits. So that was the primary reason. I mean, I could have picked any other sport, but in that case, I thought running would help me a lot tremendously by keeping me on track and taking it forward. So that's how I started my journey. And as Balraj said, I mean, I stopped running during COVID. I started everything in 2017, the long distance running. Before that, I was a casual runner, like 1 mile or 2 mile every other day or something like that. No more than that. I still remember one of my friend back in 2013. He told me that he has signed up for half marathon, and I was like, what the heck? Why and how people can run 13 miles at a stretch? And that was I at that time I never thought that I'm going to I'm going to run or do anything. I mean, for me, at that time, if I remember correctly, my pace was like 12 or 13 minutes a mile, and that was still more than enough for me. But somehow I picked it up. I don't know how. Maybe one of my batchmates from 2000 batch, he kind of teased on me that he said that, what the heck are you doing? Everybody is running marathon, and at that time I did 10K, and he said, you are only doing 10K. You should run more. So I signed up for half marathon, and then my goal was if I can finish it under 2 hours, then I'll sign up for full marathon, which I did. So I ran first half marathon in November 2017, and followed by I did first full marathon in March 2018. So, and then I picked it up. But the thing is, having some friends around is always a good idea. And the reason for that, I'm saying that is, I stopped running in COVID as COVID started. My last run was Houston Marathon back in 2020 January, and Ashutosh also ran that course. I think Ashutosh, you did half marathon that time, right? Yeah. So yeah. I mean, after that I stopped completely. I went into strength training and started learning about nutrition and all. Back in 23 May, I was driving back from Atlanta, and in fact, I stayed that weekend at Ballu's place, but we never got a time to talk about running or anything. While I was driving back, he called me. He said, "Oh, I had a very important question I forgot to ask." And then he asked me that at that time he could only go up to 10K, run up to 10K. So he asked me that, how do you all run so much? I mean, is there a trick what to do? And then we discussed about it, and then I realized that how much I used to love running. So while talking to him, I started thinking about running. I started running after that. I think I started back in July 23 again. And I think after that, Ballu started running marathon, and eventually he got Boston qualified time in one of his recent race. And I did 4 marathons after that. So overall, since I started running, I did total 10 marathons so far. And my ultimate goal, which I'm saying out loud, because if I don't do it, you all come back and yell at me. That the ultimate goal is to run marathon in all US states. So I want to go at least 50 marathons. So that's there. So now my question to you, Ballu, is did you ever believe you could finish a marathon when you first started running?
Absolutely not. I thought it is kind of impossible for a person like me or for most of us. So the same story that you were giving, Gajendra, right? When I saw you and Ayush posting your pictures about finishing a half marathon or even marathons, I was like, how come these guys to do that? It's kind of impossible for anybody. I never ran more than 4 or 5 miles until then. And this is same time around, right? 2015, 2016, 2017. So I could never imagine, I never even thought that I would do or could do. It was definitely an impossible thing for me. And now that I have done 5 marathons, with one of them being very, very fast, I can tell everyone that it is very much possible for everyone. I mean, I really mean it. It is possible for everyone once you think about it. So yes, I never thought that it is even possible. Forgot about thinking. I thought it's really, really impossible for most of the people to finish a marathon. But that's not really the case. It's more about whether we want to do it. Once you think that you want to do it, you can definitely do it.
So for the beginners out there, Ballu, what do you wish you knew when you first laced up your shoes?
So couple of things. One is that for sure, importance of your running shoes. What kind of shoes you should wear in. When I started running, or when I used to run earlier, I always knew that sports shoes, right? Sports shoes are the shoes that you use for any kind of sport. Obviously, I was so naive about that, but that is definitely not true. So definitely get your food profiling done. And it's a little bit more technical. I wanted to leave that to Gajendra, but since we are touching that topic, I think one of the key important thing is to get your food profiling done, which is available in most of the specialty shoe stores. What they do is they'll check different things without going too much into detail, but and they'll tell what kind of shoes would probably work best for you for the kind of activity you're going to do, and pick something around that. There would be multiple options once you have that done. So that is definitely one of the key things. Another thing is that I wish I knew that running does not mean that I have to go and run at full pace and just keep running. Running is, it's very different, right? Running is it's more about keep running longer than going fast, which I think most of the beginners do not know. Like I did not know, so I'm assuming that most of us do not know, right? So the goal should be to go longer than going faster, and obviously then few other things. Warm up and cool down. These two things are again very important. Like many other stuff, right? So shoes and then warm up is very important. Even if you're going for a 2-mile run or 3-mile run, you should do a warm up. There are multiple warm up exercises for running. You could choose from those. We could share as well. And similarly, the cool down. These things really help you to stay healthy and injury free. Injury free is most important thing for us, and as we age, it is more important. So at least those are few key things that I would say that I wish I knew before I started running.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ballu. You covered, touched upon, that is the going for the right shoes. So usually I have seen over the period of so many years talking to my friends that people go after the brand. So keep in mind that we are not for the shoes. Shoes are for us. So don't go for the brand, go for the fit. Okay. And any running specialty shop like Fleet Feet here in US, I'll mostly talk about that because I don't know much about in other countries, but any running specific shops like Fleet Feet or any other kind of shops, the people there are highly professional runners. So they can easily help you based on how your gait profile, meaning how your foot profile is, how you are walking, how your feet is landing. Based on that, they can suggest you good shoes. So it's always a good idea to, if you are thinking about considering running, taking up running, then going to that shop and get it fitted. It's little expensive, those shoes in the beginning, but the good thing with that is if they comes with a guarantee, meaning if you feel after running on it for 25 or 50 miles, if you still feel that that shoes are not good for you, it's not fitting well, you can go back and they will exchange it for free. So that is the good part of it. And yeah, I mean that's a good point, great point, Ballu, about warming up and cooling down after running, and also the running form. I mean the most important thing at this stage, since as we are growing old, which we don't want to accept, but we all are. So our recovery process is slow. So it's better to focus on recovery more than to just run faster or accumulate the running volume. Right. So more mileage, so recovery should always be the priority over speed and volume of running.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great, Ballu. So since we already started talking about more trainings and getting into the training, let's get a little bit into more detail into how one can start running and how one can take it up as one of their fit it into their exercise routine. Okay, so what does your current training look like? Let's start from there. How you kind of going to compare your current training compared to when you first started your running? So let's.
So when I started running, and I'm now talking about when I started running more. Let's go to that instead of when we really started, right? So when I started running more as well, my running was very simple. Go out and run. I did not know anything more than that, right? So I would run at a relatively higher pace, which was comfortable for me, but I would run at the same pace almost every day. Would try to log more miles. So if I was going for 6 miles, next day I may try for 7 miles. So kind of random, but almost at the same pace, which was high pace. It was not slow. And over a period of time, I learned that that is not the way you should train. There is a structure to the training. Your 70 to 80% of the training should be done at a slower pace, which is called a base run, right? And that's the period when you are really building your base. So you have to go for the longer miles, but you have to go at a slower pace, because that's where you really, like I said, create a base. At the same time, you're not getting fatigue. You are not you're not prone to injury, and so on. So nowadays, most of my runs are the base runs, which is at a slower pace. My weekends would be there would be long runs on the weekends. So depending on where I'm in the training phase, the long runs could be 10 miles, those could be 13 miles. Again, it will vary, but the point is that there is a structure to it, and the most important thing is that running slower for the longer distance, right? So there is definitely a structure to that, and and then maybe Gajendra, you can cover more on the heart rate and other stuff.
Yeah, that exactly I was going to touch upon, like, since you brought it up, that base run. So actually, this is all heart rate based. So everybody has their own, I would say, the heart rate range based on their current activity level, based on their age and all. So the base run that Ballu said, so essentially there are three broader category of heart rate based training. The first one is the aerobic. Well, I would say two broader category. One is aerobic, one is anaerobic. In aerobic training, our body utilizes oxygen, right, for energy, for all the reaction to create energy. And in anaerobic, it does the reaction in the absence of oxygen. So the thing is with aerobic is anaerobic, our body cannot sustain for very long. Okay, so it's a very short burst of energy, which is also very high energy, right? So which comes at a very higher heart rate. Okay, so that's why, as Ballu said, the base is run, or the aerobic base should be the 70 to 80% or even 80 to 90% of your training, and that usually, so when you look at your heart rate zone, so we, based on your heart rate range, we define it as zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and zone 5, based on increasing heart rate. So zone 1 is the just more than or maybe walking or a little bit more than walking. So that's where your heart rate little bit spikes up a little bit, and it's called the recovery run. And we do that kind of run mostly after a very hard, intense workout, or after a race. Like after marathon, you will do recovery run. And the reason for that is, what you want is the blood flow happens in your lower part of the body, so that all the byproduct that was generated during running and intense workout should be flushed away. Okay, so after that, in zone 2, when your heart rate goes in zone 2, that is when the base aerobic base training comes in, and this is the most of it. So when we go for a run, we always we miss the heart rate. What we do is we try to run as fast as we can. I also used to do that. I never knew about this at all, and that is the first thing. Whenever anybody comes to me and they ask for a suggestion, I tell them that in order to run fast, you have to train slow, meaning you have to train in your aerobic base zone. Okay, and aerobic base is your heart rate is in zone 2. Okay, and once after that, and both of these comes under your aerobic training. Third one, there are total 5 different forms of training that comes under aerobic zone. So these are the 2. Third one is tempo run. Tempo run is a little bit harder than your base run, but so base run can sustain anywhere from half an hour all the way up to 2 hours or 3 hours. Okay, and based on which phase you are in your training. and tempo run comes after that, and there the heart rate goes a little bit up. So you are basically switching between zone 2 and zone 3, and your training duration is usually between, I would say, 15 minutes all the way up to hour and 15 minutes, no more than that. And that also depends on which phase of the training you are in. And then after that comes interval training. So interval training is kind of a sustained higher, little bit again higher than your zone, this tempo run. So you will be in your zone 3 and maybe sometimes in zone 4. But what you do is you put a burst of energy in that, and then comes back and recover, and then burst of energy comes back and recover. So that's how the this interval training goes. And then after that it comes VO2 max. So VO2 max is basically how much oxygen our body can efficiently utilize in every stroke of the heart valve, right? So and you want to bump it up. Higher VO2 max meaning higher, better health, better heart health, right? So, and for that also, it's not like you have to continuously run and run. So the training for that is again, it's a burst of energy, little bit higher than, so you will be continuously in zone 4 of your heart rate, and you burst it, meaning you go for 1 minute harder run, then 3-minute recovery, 1 minute harder, 3-minute recovery. This form of, you repeat it 4 times. So this form of training is called Norwegian training. Okay, and this training in whatever form, not only running, I mean, any type of cardio you are doing, you do it this way. And when you do it, what happens that it helps you, your heart increase the elasticity. And in one of the recent research I was reading about it, and they figured out for people above 50 years old, they did it for 6 months. They asked them to do this Norwegian exercise type of training for 6 months for one set of group of people, and another set they were doing a regular exercise, and then they compared their heart health after that, the elasticity of the heart. What they found out that the group of the people who were doing this Norwegian training, the elasticity of the heart increased, and it became equal to similar to what the people of 30 years of old. So kind of the heart reduced the age by 20 years. So that's what they figured out. So that's what it is. So these are all the aerobic. I know it's going a little bit longer, but I just wanted to give a little bit idea that what it is. So most of it is good enough. I mean, but if you are in certain of training where you want to further increase your speed, then you go in anaerobic part. And that's when there are 2 types of training. One is called anaerobic training itself, anaerobic run. And the final one is a sprint. So I'm not going to go in more detail in there, but yeah, that's what it is all about. So, yes, Balu, take it over.
And to give it a full perspective, right? So we spoke about base running, we spoke about anaerobic, aerobic. I think the whole idea is that obviously train for the longer period of time at a comfortable pace, which gives you the base. And then also depending on the speed that you are looking for, right? The goal that you have to train at that pace as well. Obviously for a shorter amount of time, but you have to do that. Until you do that, you will not be able to reach that pace. So that's another important aspect as well. Keep that goal in mind, and then touch that pace. Go for, let's say, a few miles at that pace, or let's say 15 minutes at that pace, whatever goal pace you have, right? Let's say 8 miles a minute, or whatever the goal is. But you definitely have to train at that pace. That gives you body, the heart, the legs, and everything, basically all the parts combined together, the ability to go at that pace. And then depending on what race you are running, right? What is the length of your race, whether it is marathon or half marathon, you have to touch upon that as well. So Gajendra, how much of that running should be there? Would you like to cover that as well, so that we are kind of covering the complete training part?
Yeah, absolutely. Even before that, I was thinking about for the new runners, people who wants to take up running. So for them, the suggestion would be, I mean, don't think about distance. Think in terms of time. Okay. Even if it's a slow pace, doesn't matter. If you started running, as long as you are running in a comfortable pace, you go for it as long as you feel okay. Okay. After that, next time when you go out, try to run a little bit longer. Suppose if you ran for 10 minutes or 15 minutes the first day, second day, try to go for 18 minutes or 19 minutes or even 17 minutes. Yeah, so slowly you need to push. The whole idea is to slowly build upon it. Don't rush. what I have realized is our heart. So we get the perception of exertion from how tired we are from our heart rate, right? So in the beginning, since when you start picking up running or any cardio exercise, then the heart starts pounding very quickly, meaning the heart rate starts going up. And but the heart is the first organ that usually get used to of that very quickly. Okay, but the other part of the body, it takes time, like your feet, your ankle, your calf, your quads, your hamstring, your glutes, all these different parts of the body, it takes time to get accustomed, right? And only way they can tell you that they are not ready is by getting injured. That's the last thing you want, and that is why you need to take it up very, very slowly. Okay, and if there is any sign of any injury, take rest, take a step back, let it heal properly. Okay, and then getting back to what type of running, suppose if you want to go for a 10K, then it doesn't mean that you have to run 10K, right? In any of your runs, you can go for 2 miles, 3 miles, maximum 4 miles. If you can do 4 miles, you can easily do 10K, which is 6.2 miles, right? I remember when I did my first half marathon, I never did half marathon distance run before that. I ran up to 10 or 11 miles in a stretch. That's it. And half marathon is 13.1 miles. And still I was able to do that. And same thing for full marathon. The first full marathon when I went, and even now also in our running, when we do our maximum, the peak running that we go up to is either 20 or 20 to 22 miles max in a stretch. That's it. And full marathon is 26.2. So the whole idea is, if you are running for any race, planning to run any race, you don't have to cover that much distance in any one single run. Okay. So let's talk more about this warming up, cooling down, recovery, and one thing we haven't touched upon, Ballu, yet is nutrition, right? You want to start on that?
I would, but I would definitely need your help on nutrition, Gajendra. Let me start. I think, especially for runners, the most important thing is the electrolytes. Obviously, it's not food, but electrolytes is the most important thing. While you run through the sweat, most of the key electrolytes go away. So there are multiple options available for that. Obviously you can get the salt tablets. We call them salt tablets. They usually contain potassium, sodium, and few other things that you could consume before you run. Or it could be simple salt also. But it's very important to keep your salt intake at the optimal level for not so long distance, right? I would say if you are running a 10K and all, usually your salt intake is going to be fine as long as you are increasing it a little bit also, right? But if you're going for longer distance, half marathon or full marathon, you have to pay a lot of attention on taking the supplement or taking the salt in the supplemental form, which is not just the salt. It has to be electrolyte tablets, or it comes in the powder form and so on. And then depending on the length of your running, you have to make sure that you are taking some before you start running. You may need during the running as well. If you are running for, let's say, 10 miles during your trainings, 10 miles, 13 miles, 12 miles, 14 miles, you have to carry some electrolytes along with you in some form so that you can consume that. And for the longer distance, even if it is more. As well as when you finish up, you definitely have to make sure you replenish your electrolytes. So that's definitely the key. Gajendra, I would like to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, fantastic point, Ballu, about the electrolytes. I would take a little bit, even I would say a step back on that. So in running, or I would say in any form of exercise you are doing, right? So you need to focus on your macros, macronutrients, right? So which is of course protein, carb, and fat, right? So once you start running, and if you are not strength training, so what we have noticed that, in fact, I have noticed in myself back before COVID, that I lost a lot of muscle mass. And the reason for that is running is an intense exercise that requires a lot of energy, right? And if you are not taking care of your macro intake, then it will start disintegrating your protein fibers to extract energy from there. Right. So, and that has happened with me. I know that. That's why I'm saying that macronutrients is very important. Carb is not an enemy in this case. It's a friend, because we need an easily digestible form of nutrients that can provide energy for long, which is carb. Right. And that's why if you are a sweet lover, I would say picking up running is a good idea. So that's one thing. Protein is definitely very important. And just to give you an idea, not the idea, but just to give you basic the about the amount, how much you need, then you can go from zero 0.8 to 1.2 times of your body weight in kilogram, right? So you just convert that. Say, for example, you are 80 kg, then in general, you can go 80 grams of protein. Okay, and that too every day. You distribute it throughout the day. And as a general note, I would say it's similar for both men and women, and to focus on protein there. Healthy fat, we do need healthy fat there as well, because we need lot of vitamins when we are running. We need to have stronger bones. That means we need calcium for that, and body absorb calcium with vitamin D. It cannot absorb calcium without vitamin D, and vitamin D is fat soluble vitamin. So we need to have sufficient fat in our dietary program as well. So in addition to macros, we need to focus on B12, vitamin B12, which is water soluble, vitamin D, C, and E. Okay, and also for mineral, we need iron, calcium, magnesium, zinc. And as Ballu said, adequate amount of hydration and electrolytes. And last but not least, dietary fiber. Definitely need dietary fiber. Okay, so these are the few most important thing from the nutrition perspective, and this is in general true for any generally, I would say, healthy people. Right, so focus on your nutrition. The first thing, very first thing, it's the base of. If you consider the entire health as a pyramid, then the base is the nutrition, and then exercise comes on the top. Exercise, sleep, stress management, water intake, all these basically it comes after nutrition. Okay. So yeah, I mean that's about the nutrition. But you want to touch up upon warm up, cool down, strength training for
Absolutely.
runners?
Absolutely. So, like we briefly spoke about the importance of warm up and the cool down, right? I think it has to be looked up holistically, starting from your warm up to the actual race, to the cool down, the strength training in between, as well as how the recovery process happens. So, like we said, right? Yeah, the warm up is very, very important for any run. I mean, you should definitely keep close to 10 minutes for the warm up, and similarly close to 10 minutes for the cool down as well. Again, I mean, it's not a hard number. It can be 15 minutes. It can be sometimes 5 minutes also, depending on the amount of running you're doing. But it's definitely very important to keep that time to do that, so that you are recovering faster, right? Otherwise, it is very underrated though, and I have seen that as well. It's very underrated. We think that, okay, it's not required, probably, right? But these are the things which actually would add up to towards making your body more prone to injury than anything else. And when you're running and you're running longer, there are times when it's going to happen if you are not following that. So it's very, very important. Second, so this warm up and cool down, obviously, right? The recovery, I think recovery is very important after you finish your running. Replenish your electrolytes and things like that. Focus on nutrition that you take. Make sure that you're taking some protein to recover from the runs, especially the longer runs. You need more protein to handle that. And then I think the key aspects which I learned from Gajendra is using the roller foam as well as the massage guns. I think those are very, very important. Those have helped me great deal and actually recovering from those longer runs. So I would hand it over to Gajendra to emphasize more onto that. But I'm the first example of that. It's very, very helpful, extremely helpful, and very underrated.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ballu. I mean, I remember the first time when I was not aware of the massage gun. I started having some pain in my back of the right knee. Okay, so I went to a doctor and they sent me to sports medicine place, and there they took my MRI and everything, X-ray, MRI, everything, and I ended up paying 3 grand for that, and they couldn't able to figure it out. And finally, I read it somewhere that some runners should use some deep tissue massager. So I bought one from Amazon for $20, and that fixed it in 2 days. So so yeah, massage is very, very important, and it's very helpful. So yeah, I mean, and the strength training. So the strength training for runners, I would say it's a lower body, primarily lower body exercise. So focus on, so in addition to running, so just running is not like you just run and then sit all day. So after running, even Ballu can tell more on that, that when we go for a long run, after that we do one thing, active recovery. Active recovery is like you just don't sit idle, you just be active, you walk around so that the blood flow is always there. And as I said before that, I mean, we need to have blood circulates through your lower part of the body so that whatever the toxins has generated after running, it should be able to flush it out, right? So that's where the active recovery is needed. For the strength training, we as a runner, you definitely need to do, and I learned it a very hard way, that you definitely need to do lower body exercise, like your calf raises for calf, your leg extension for your quads, your leg curl for your hamstrings, and then your strengthen your glutes, right? You don't need to go to gym to do that. You can buy those resistance bands from Amazon. It's very cheap, and then you can do it at home. Okay, one of my friend was asking, okay, I don't have time. I mean, I go for a run in the evening, and then after that, when I come back, I just eat, and I just want to eat and then do some walking and sleep. When do I do this stretching and the strength training? I said, why don't you? He said he has all the resistance band. I said, why don't you keep it in your office? Right? I mean, you don't. It's not like you. And he has a enclosed office, so he can do that, and so do I. So I do it when I don't have a meeting. Then I just, if I'm feeling sluggish or something, I just do some push-ups there. I have some equipment in my office, so there is no shame in keeping some exercise equipment in your office as well. Right? It's your health. If you cannot take care of it, who else will? Right? So that's one thing, and. Yeah, I mean, did I miss anything here, Vallu?
No, I think we covered pretty much, especially given the audience that we have, and we can always go deeper separately depending on how we want to do, and probably we can cover some through the questions as well. There is one interesting thing, not about the training, but I keep hearing, I'm sure everybody keeps hearing about the stuff, is that some myths about the running, especially at the old age. So, Gajendra, you want to talk about that, or I can cover for sure? But this one I love it.
You go ahead, please.
All right. So I hear from so many people, and I'm sure everybody does, right? That if you're running, then your knees will go for a toss, knees and hips. And as you age, maybe, and a lot of people tell me that, okay, maybe you're still in 40s, that's why you're able to run, but the moment you touch 50s, do not do that. You'll not be able to sustain. I strongly feel that is not true. I mean, I know that when we age, our bones get weaker. There are different reasons for that, right? We usually have deficiencies of vitamin D, vitamin B12, and other stuff. That is the one which is causing, and then obviously natural aging. So while a lot of people actually get pain during the running, it is not because of the running. It is because your bones naturally get weaker, and then because of the deficiencies, right? And then running is obviously it has some impact. When you run, you are impacting your knees, you're impacting your hip and other joints and other bones. So you feel that, just because you're running, you are getting the pain or this has happened. That is not true.
And one thing there to add, Ballu, is, I mean, the other thing that we covered, right? The strength training to strengthen your supporting tendons and ligaments, and also proper form, proper recovery. So if you miss those things, then as we age, I mean, our recovery process is already slow, and we are basically further hindering the recovery by not giving it enough time to recover.
Yep. So yeah, right. Like you rightly said. So on the contrary, if you see, the runners are less prone to these injuries or weaker bones and hips and joints because they take care of those more. So if you're running, naturally you would try to understand what is important for your body, what deficiencies you have. If you're taking care of those and you are doing the strength training, more likely than not, your entire bone health and the joints health is going to be much more better for a very long period of time. And I really mean that it will be probably 10 years more than what others have. Now, obviously, one may argue that it's because you're taking care of it, but yeah, that's what we want, right? Obviously, it's active process, but yes, you can definitely. I mean, in that sense, I feel it's a myth that your knees and hips become weaker if you start riding.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true, Ballu. And also, yeah, I mean, as we age, definitely the bone starts getting weaker because we start losing bone density and all. But the good thing is, there is a reversal process as well. I mean, if you are strength training or doing like running is also like an impact type of exercise. So it's it's strengthening your bone, right? So by repeated impact, rather than degrading it. I mean, if you are taking proper nutrition and proper additional taking care of your body, then it is going to help you, not degrade you, right? And also, especially not. I mean, as we all know, that after age of 30 we start losing muscle, and as we even grow old, then we start losing bone density, and women loses bone density faster than men. So it's even become more important for all of us, in fact, to focus on strength training and running. I mean, not running mainly because not running, but any cardio form of exercise, right? So whatever you like. So and cardio, I said mainly because strength training will strengthen your bone and your muscle, but for heart muscle you need to do some cardio, right? Some form, whichever you like, not specifically running. Okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good point, Ballu, about this, about the myth. And I have also heard it a lot. Whenever people see that I'm running and I ran marathon, the first question they ask, is your knees okay? Yes, they are okay. So yeah, I mean, and as a matter of fact, I met one woman in my wave, my chorale in New York City Marathon. She was 80 years old, and she started running when she was 60, and so far she did 45 marathons total. So and if you look it up in New York City marathon results, the oldest man who ran and finished marathon was 91 years old from Japan. So and so that means we all are in our NIT group. Everybody is younger than that person at least, right? So, and I then out of curiosity, I started looking how many people finished aged between 80 and 89, and there were 16 people who finished that New York City marathon race. And then I thought, let me check how many people finished between 70 and 79. I mean, I couldn't count. So. So I mean, you can think about it that there are so many people. I saw one guy, he had on his back, and I sent it to in our fitness group as well. That picture, he had his hip surgery, and after that, hip replacement. In fact, after that, this New York City marathon was his third marathon after hip replacement. And I mean, so what excuse do we have? I mean, I don't have any excuse.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, so I think we covered pretty much briefly about the technicality of the running, right? Ballu, do you think we missed anything?
Technicalities we have covered. Right.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I would say, which is very important if you are thinking about taking up running, then the most important thing is get the right shoes. And as we said, go to a running specific shop and get it fitted. People there are professional runners, and they will help you get good shoes. And I know in Fleet Feet they do your 3D imaging of your feet for free, even if you don't buy the shoes. There might be other running shops who might be doing it now as well, but they basically do the 3D imaging, and based on where your higher pressure is when you are standing and things like that, they suggest shoes, running shoes or walking shoes, whatever you like. right? So definitely try that out. So yeah. So
Wanted to add on to that yeah, like Gajendra said earlier, don't go for the brand necessarily. See what which brand fits better to you and which ones you like, which ones your feet like more than anything else. I know the brands are just the brands, and believe me when I say that, right? When for example, if you look at Adidas, right, those who are not runners, they would feel that Adidas shoes are not that great, Hoka shoes are the best. But if you look at the fast runners, the marathoners, right, the ones who are finishing in 2 hours 15 minutes, 2 hours 30 minutes, most of them are wearing Adidas shoes. So it is about what you like more, which ones you feel more comfortable with than anything else. Right? This is
yeah.
the brand and the cost.
And always be open-minded, because once you take up running, then what happens that as your shoes wears out, your running gait changes the way you are running, right? So over a period of time, the shoe that was fitting you like a few years ago, that might not be the good fit for your feet now, because your gait has already changed. So so always keep that in mind, and always be open-minded to try other things as well.
I think we can look at the clock, and I think we're kind of, if you're done, we can move on to the question answer session.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, yeah.
So as discussed earlier, we can go through the questions in the spreadsheet first. Yeah, let's clap for them first.
And Rahul sir, I mean, I really lost track of time.
No worries, no worries. Absolutely no worries. It was a very good talk so far. And there are a lot of questions in the chat also, as well as the spreadsheet. So let me read one by one spreadsheet, and then some of these might have already been covered. So we can move on. So the first question I just added, what's the process to sign up for a marathon? So basically that logistics about how do you find a marathon, what's the qualification process, and find marathon, of course, you can Google it, but in general, what's,
No, that's a good question, Rahul sir. Actually, there is a website, findmymarathon.com. And there are only a few marathons where you need to qualify, or with the lottery system. Primarily, those are world major marathon. Right now, there are 7 marathon like that, and 3 of them are in US: Chicago, Boston, and New York. Then London, Berlin, Tokyo, and Sydney. So marathons where Boston, there is no lucky draw. It's the time qualifier. Other than that, everywhere else there is a lucky draw or time qualifier. So, and other than that, almost everywhere nowadays you can find marathon. And Find My Marathon is a fantastic website. You can, based on your taste, like if you want to do flat course marathon or downhill, uphill, you can find that out. Or you can put in your zip code and it will tell you the races, or you can give the time frame like springtime or summertime or winter time, whatever, and it will tell you the marathon around that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That answers the question. The next question is, again, this question might have been covered, so we can skip it if you think. Can you please suggest not one but few strengthening exercises that address different body parts? This is for beginners, and how much time per week strengthening is typically considered good enough? So we have a lot of questions. So if this has already been covered, we can skip it.
No, I can quickly, I don't think we covered it fully, but I can just quickly address that. So for beginners, I would say don't worry about weight training. You can use your body as a weight, right? So like you can do the body weight exercise as a beginner, and the body weight exercise would be squats for your lower body, wall push-up you can do for your upper body. Okay, sit to stand, you can do for whole body, then heel raises, you can do plank, you can do glute bridges. So these will give you enough exercise if you do it, say for example, 8 to 10 repetition and 2 to 3 sets. Okay, so you can do that. 30-day, then 30 minutes, then I think that should be good enough as a beginner.
Okay.
And for the teens, I would say, early teens, I would say, again, I mean, whole body, full body exercise is the best thing to go, but consult with your pediatrician or physician for that. But yeah, full body exercise and 2 to 3 times a week for teens. And I would suggest to include more cardio for them because it's growing age, right? So it's better to have a mix of both, but focus more towards cardio and and add the strength training along.
Yeah, and let me repeat the disclaimer in the beginning. This is all for information purposes. Do check with your doctor before doing anything. So next question is, talk about pace of running, importance, if any, relation with hemoglobin level, if any, how to improve pace, and then how running regime can or should change with age, impact on muscle, ligaments, and bone health. And the last one from this person is, other than proteins, B12 and D3, what are other important nutrients a runner should be worried about? Calcium intake, supplement required for runners.
Ballu, you can take the first question about the pace. I think the third one about the nutrition we already covered. I can take the second question about the age.
Sure.
Yeah.
So about the pace, what you have to do is you have to incorporate the speed training primarily. Some call it fartlek. One of the options is fartlek. In simple words, right? You need to make sure that you are running at faster pace and then you're taking rest. So you can form the sets. Let's say you can form a set of. Okay, so let me break it down. It's very simple. I'm not going into technicals. Let's say you run 200 meters at very high pace that you can go in. And talking about the zones that Gajendra was talking earlier, right? You need to go at the zone 4, meaning kind of at your max speed that you can run. And by the way, this is after you have done some training. Do not go for the maximum pace in the beginning. When you have done enough training, which is at least 3-4 weeks of good base building, that's when you should go for the speed. Before that, do not try that. Otherwise, there could be injuries that could happen. So go at the maximum speed that you can. Little lower than the maximum actually. Should never try to do maximum, because otherwise you'll run out of the breath and everything, and you'll not be able to do more. So go a little slower than the maximum speed that you can go for 200 meters, and then take rest. That rest time should be, initially you can have 2 minutes of rest, and then go for another 200 meters, and so on. So do the 4 repetitions. Obviously, the rest time and the distance or the time that you're running for, you can always customize that. But that's the basic concept, that you go at the maximum minus a little bit less, do some repetitions, and then obviously go back to that again probably next week, right? Do not do that more speed trainings. Usually it is not advisable to do more than 2 speed trainings a week. You can do up to 2, but one is better.
Okay.
But that too, Ballu, you said, I think that should be when you are at the advanced level of your training, not at
very advanced. When you're very advanced and we're really, really trying to finish up your training or finish up your speed training before your actual race, and you're close to your goal pace.
Yeah. So about the hemoglobin, I'll touch on that. This is so for the type of training that we do up to marathon. Usually we have, it is not been observed about the impact on hemoglobin, but for ultra to ultra marathon, especially people who are training for that and they start raking up the mileage, right? Weekly mileage, if they go beyond 100 or 150 miles per week, that's when people have noticed that. And what happens that when you do that type of training, then the plasma volume increases in your blood, and that kind of dilutes your blood cells, right? So this is called pseudo anemia. So that happens when you increase your mileage whole a lot. So that's one process. That's one reason. Second one is with the repeated foot landing. What happens that it destroys the red blood cells. Okay, so it's called the foot strike hemolysis. Okay, so that is there. And the third possibility is basically you sweat too much and you lose iron via your sweat. But again, keep in mind that this is not for the type of training for marathon. This is very ultra to ultra level of training we are talking about. Okay, so and for the age, Ballu and I, we repeatedly said about recovery. So you can pick up running at any age. Right, the oldest guy, Indian guy, Sardar guy, who passed away, he picked up running at the age of 80. right? And he lived until 114. So you can pick up running at any age. Keep in mind that you give enough time to recover your body, right, from the repeated impact, and you, along with that, you focus on your nutrition, your strength training, your running form, and shoes.
Okay. So I think we can go to the next question. There are too many, so we need to quickly do. So this question has a lot of small questions. So maybe if we have covered, we can just go to the next. So how should I start run continuously or use a walk run method? I think you guys already covered. How many days?
Rahul sir, I think this is important just to
Okay.
cover, especially the first one. A lot of people could be the beginners. I think one of the important thing in this one is to make sure that you go and run. You don't have to run fast, like we said. Go and run. One of the things that I did not really learn from YouTube, but I saw that somewhere later, and you guys can look up for it as well. Cows to 5K, let's say. They have multiple YouTube videos. Cows to 5K is one of the ones that I saw some time, and I really like that. What it says is that if you are really in cows, meaning you're not running at all, the best way to run is that go out and run at a slow pace for however long you can. Let's say you can run for a minute, right? And again, I'm repeating, do not run fast. You can run for a minute, and then walk. Because if you're running, you get tired. You can get tired in 1 minute. You can get tired in 2 minutes. Some people can get tired in 10 minutes. Doesn't matter. Take that as a base. Then walk for 1 minute, 2 minutes, to the point that you feel that, okay, now you're comfortable. Your heart rate has come down and you can run again. So then run again.
Okay.
Run again for another 5 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with, and then walk. But do not come back. I mean, there has to be a pattern. You try that, and it works for almost everyone. Later, you have to increase the running part or distance, running duration, and decrease the rest part. So slowly, you have to keep increasing the duration that you run and keep decreasing the duration you walk. But I think that works very good for almost everyone.
Yeah, there are a few more questions in there, which is important, I think. One is how you should breathe. So you need more oxygen, obviously, right? So breathe into your diaphragm. So when you breathe, make sure, so you practice for it, right? So how you practice is lie down with your back on the floor and try to breathe in, and make sure your chest is not rising, your stomach is rising. So when you are running, what you do is you try to fill oxygen in your stomach. Okay, and doesn't matter if you're breathing from nose or from mouth. When I run, I breathe from both. Okay, and it comes from practice. Okay, so there are a lot of things that you can do, but I would say when you are starting, pick one thing and try to master it, and then add another one after that. Okay, so that's one thing. Other is the shoe life. So any running shoes usually go for 400 to 500 miles. Okay. The trick is if you, after that time, so what you do is like there are a lot of ways you can track how many miles you are doing on a shoe. Like if you're using a Garmin watch, then you can add your shoe in there. Or you can create a free account in Strava and add the shoes. And after every run, you can link that shoe to that run. And Strava counts the mileage. And you keep track of, and Strava keeps track of how many miles that shoe has. And after that, once it starts reaching 300 miles, start noticing after running that, are you getting any pain in your feet or what? Okay. And shoe will look perfectly new, but running shoes over a period of time, that foam, it just gets destroyed. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So you can, if you think we have covered most of these questions, this person has really put his heart into the asking very important questions, and I really like that, but we don't have much time. So maybe you can go to the next question, and if you have access to the spreadsheet, you can just
let me go over the next one. When to stop.
I think the one other thing is that I can see is, should I rest or run through the mild pain? I think
that's very important. Yeah, I missed that. Go ahead, Villu.
So if you have mild pain, if the pain is real, you should rest. You should not really run. Sometimes it could be psychological, by the way. You may feel that there is a pain, but there is no pain. That comes from a practice, but you don't really have to stop if it is psychological. One way to figure out is go for a run with a mindset that you may have to come back, right? So go and see if the pain is really there or it's aggravating even a little bit. Come back. The idea is the pain is real, should not push.
Yeah. I'm glad you this, Balraj, because these are very important questions, and I would think that going to a trainer may be really important. Going on your own may even cause a problem. So we again go back to the disclaimer that these are great questions, but for serious attempt, definitely spend some money in getting some training.
And also, like, even if suppose you go out for a run and if you feel that there is some pain that has started, and after few meters, that pain, rather than coming down, it's going up, because it happens. Or sometimes it's mental. Like when I was running this in any race that I have done, at some point I feel pain in my feet somewhere, which I know it's psychological, not real, right? And it goes away after half a mile or so. So, but when you are training, when you are running, if you feel that the pain is not going away after a few meters, then stop and come back home.
Yeah.
You don't need to fight through the pain. Never fight through the pain. Okay. So the next was when to stop running. What do you think about cardio zone? I think we already covered cardio zone. Right? Which zone is sustainable in long-term running? Zone 2, which is the base, aerobic base, that's sustainable. How did you increase your steps cadence? So step cadence, there is a in all app stores, Apple store or Google store, there is a, you can just search for metronome and you can set the cadence there. And cadence is actually how many steps you take per minute. Okay. Ideally, people say that when you run, your feet should land under your body. Okay, and you should not overstride. And your speed is actually what is your stride length multiplied by cadence. Okay, so both things contributes. So you should not overstride, meaning your stride length should not go too long, because in that case you will be hitting in front of your body, not under your body. And why you want to hit under your body is because once you hit under your body, then all the impact that is coming, your entire body is absorbing it. If you hit in front of the body, then only your bottom part, which is part of the feet under your knee, that will be absorbing the impact, and the chances of getting injured is higher, right? And that's when the cadence comes in. Ideally, people say that if you are between 170 to 180, that you can assume that you are hitting under your body. And that's when this metronome app, which are free, you can set your cadence there, and then what it does is it just beats. Just there is no music, nothing, just beats, and you try to hit on that beat. Okay, so that can help you increase your cadence. Other one is heart rate based training. We covered a lot on heart rate based training. Question is, why does my heart rate go higher even when I feel I'm running slowly? Heart rate depends on how well you are rested, how well your body is recovered from previous beating, how well you have slept, how was your how hard you partied last night. It all depends on that. Okay. And if you party too hard, then heart rate will tell you next day when you go out for a run. So keep that in mind.
They have stopped partying nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically a lot of factor, and also stress plays a lot. I mean, if you are stressed out, then your heart rate will go up. Also, the other thing is when you are running, then the thoughts that comes into your mind, and if it's not a good thought, then your heart rate will start shooting up. So yeah, so those things keep in mind, and these are the things that you can control over. Right? So keep that in mind when you are running. So and the other thing is when the heart rate goes up and it's not coming down, stop.
Yeah.
And even walking is making your heart rate go up, stop. There is no harm. There is no shame in stopping. Right?
Yeah.
I stop. Ballu stops. We all stop. We need to control heart rate. We don't need to control speed. Okay, so keep that in mind. What is the best way to lower? Yeah, I already covered that. Best way to lower your average heart rate over time. How does temperature, hydration, lack of sleep, all these things impact your heart rate in your time? If the temperature is higher, suppose if you're running at say 10 minutes a mile today temperature is low, you well rested, everything is good to go, you are you are ready to go out for a run and the temperature is higher by say 10 Fahrenheit, and you go out, you're at the same speed, your heart rate will shoot up. Okay, so temperature plays a very big role.
Okay. Are you done with that spreadsheet? We can go to the questions.
Yeah, let's do that. And
Yeah.
some people have raised hands as well. So Rahul sir,
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's basically go to.
Ballu, we talked a lot. You are a Batuni Ballu.
By the way, let me commend you on wearing the T-shirt of our alumni association. I also did the same thing. I got my
Awesome.
25th anniversary T-shirt.
Awesome.
So going to the talk chat, the first question by B. Srinivas is, how do you go from mindset? Why do people run these long distance? I think this was covered in the beginning itself. What was the motivation? Next question I asked about flat foot. Like in case is it advisable to run marathon? I mean, I'm not going to run. I'm too old for that. Not 91 yet, but flat foot.
Yeah, if you are good to go with everything else, I mean, your body is functioning well and you don't have any injury, right? Then in that case, yeah, why not? Give it a try and see and see yourself. Right? How do you feel after that? I mean, of course, I mean, get right shoes for your feet, right? And after that, that's the good thing about all these things, right? I mean, I always experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, what bad could happen? If you are exercising, you will get injured, you will take a rest, and then you will try something new.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
And Rahul sir, one more thing, what we have seen, I have observed in many marathons is that there are a lot of people who you could see that they have some sort of issues with their feet or something, they land in very different, right? But they're running and they're finishing. Many of them are I would say most of them. So flat feet should definitely not be a restriction by itself to run marathon or any distances, not at all.
Or even pick up the running. I mean, you can give it a try and see how you feel about it.
Yeah. And your statement about the knee impact on the knees and all that also encouraged me. I walk, I don't run, fearing the impact on the knees, but maybe I'll give it a try. Next question is, what's a typical cool down? I think you guys covered that. And do you listen to songs while running long distance? What genre? I mean, that probably, I don't know. You guys want
to I'll tell you, Ballu listens to
individual taste, right? I mean, I listen to Bollywood songs, and a lot of people don't because they say it's very different. Gajendra listens to the particular ones.
Yes, so basically what I listen to is on Spotify. There is a playlist where you can look for what is that? The cadence 175 to 180. So they have set up the music with that. So it is there. You can give it a try. And but not only that, back in days I used to listen to NPR.
Oh yeah.
As well. So it's all your taste.
Yeah. I just Googled about long runners. So somebody called Will Epstein. He long runner is a song anyway. And I was thinking of Bhag Milkha Bhag also maybe one.
That's one of my favorite, by the way. I have that in my list, and I have similar songs playlist. It gives you energy, so I definitely have those for my long runs.
Yeah.
And I try to keep only the ones which are very high energy.
Yeah.
And also not only that, there is another saying in running community is running naked. Not out of clothes, but out of gadgets. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I do partial naked, meaning without song sometimes as well, because that's a good way to listen to your heart and your feet as well. So that's very important time to time.
Did you guys train solo or had partners? How important is this?
Oh, that's a very good question. We wanted to cover it. So basically what we have is we have created, since we all are physically apart, but we have created a WhatsApp group only for GEC runners. And we have people from all over, all the way from 92 batch to, I would say, batch 2020. So only from NIT. And what we do is, only thing is criteria in that group is you need to share whatever you are doing, not only running, any workout.
Yeah.
And I know and I try to kick people out as well if they don't do it for longer. And I have noticed few people in that group, they stop doing it. So this weekend, I'm going to give them a reminder. But yeah, through that, I mean, jokes apart, through that, it gives us motivation and then keeps us pushing each other.
So in the long distance running, is the process always to heel and toe heal into, I guess, or do you change the process? I don't understand the question. Is it like heel toe type of thing? When you run, probably like that kind of thing. Is that maybe that's what he's not in the meeting, I think now. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. What do you eat, drink before and after the run? Shambhavi's question.
So for me,
I
I
think you already
usually,
covered it, but anyways, yeah, please go
yeah,
ahead.
for right before run or right before gym, everyone has its own taste.
Yeah.
For me, I usually drink my protein shake. That's
Mm.
and I go out for a run, and also, of course, coffee in the morning. And for a longer run, before going out for a run, half an hour before that, I eat some carb,
Mm.
any form of carb. Yeah.
The next one is from Saurabh, is about basically motivation. How do you keep it going?
So as I said, I mean, either join our NIT group, fitness group, or create your own.
Mm.
Right. I mean, as long as it's a team sport, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can each other. One day you don't want to go out, but then you see that somebody has already gone out, like Ashutosh has done 17th half marathon yesterday, right? 17th, right?
Wow.
So when you see that, you get motivated. That,
Mm.
oh, now I need to go out.
Yeah.
So that kind of community always helps.
Yeah. Great. In fact, so the next question is probably a pun. Is it true that runners encourage others to run? I think you already have a WhatsApp group, so that answers. And one question I have, there is something called runner's high. What is that? Do you get it?
Yes.
Okay.
Once you start running more than, I would say, more than 5-6 miles, you will start getting runner's high.
Okay. That's a healthy way of getting that.
Adrenaline rush that you get good hormones,
Hmm.
right? And then the good thing is that's the time which I have. I mean, I personally believe that that's the time that is personally only for your own.
Hmm.
So I have kind of found a solution for many problems that was lingering in my mind during my long runs.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's not about just thinking about running, but we think a lot. Like we started this step challenge in our Y2K batch, and that's the idea came up when I was running.
Hmm.
And right away that when it came up, I stopped and I messaged Ballu. Ballu, what do you think about this idea?
Hmm.
So these things happens, yeah.
Yeah. So next question is about ideas on sleep. I think this covered, right? No partying. But
Now partying little less harder.
yeah. Anyway, great. I think we kind of rushed towards the end, but we are already slightly over time. No problems with that. And I think if the original marathon runner, Fiddy Piddies, if he had this talk before that, he would not have died after the run.
Rahul sir, I think Chaitanya has raised his hand.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. Yeah. Hi, Chaitanya, go ahead, unmute and ask.
हेलो सर तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ऑलमोस्ट काइंड ऑफ लाइक कवर हो चुका है लेकिन थोड़ा डिफरेंट है मेरा ये कि जैसे रन स्टार्ट करते हो आप तो मोस्टली यूट्यूब वीडियोस में ये होता है गेट के बारे में बताया जाता है कि केडेंस होना चाहिए आई ट्राइड दैट बट समटाइम्स आई डोंट फील लाइक मेंटेनिंग दैट केडेंस रियली वर्क्स फॉर मी व्हेन आई एम बिगिनिंग सो दौड़ते दौड़ते केडेंस आना बेटर है कि केडेंस के लिए जाके इंजरी करना वो कैसे उसको करना चाहिए क्या जैसे आप स्टार्ट स्लो वंस यू स्टार्ट गेट यूज्ड टू इट योर केडेंस goes up to that builds up to it or you should start focusing on cadence when you start
चैतन्य पहले रनिंग शुरू करो, ठीक है? रनिंग करो, बाकी चीज उसके बाद धीरे धीरे उसमें एक एक करके ऐड करो, ठीक है? और सबसे पहले तो तुम ये करो कि अगर रन कर रहे हो या नहीं कर रहे हो ना, तो पहले शुरू करो कि भाई चलो आज 15 मिनट दौड़ के आते हैं। 1-2 दिन के बाद फिर कोशिश करो कि आज 18 मिनट दौड़ लेते हैं, 20 मिनट, धीरे धीरे अपना टाइम बढ़ाओ, ठीक है? फिर उसके बाद तुम धीरे से उसमें फिर अपना केडेंस डालो। बहुत सारी चीजें हैं उसमें, जैसे रनिंग फॉर्म, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट रनिंग फॉर्म, तो उसमें केडेंस हुआ एक, दूसरा तुम्हारा हुआ कि तुम्हारा बॉडी पोस्चर कैसा होना चाहिए, तीसरा तुम्हारा सांस कैसा होना चाहिए, ठीक है? चौथा तुम्हारा हैंड मूवमेंट कैसा होना चाहिए, पांचवा है तुम्हारा क्या नाम है, हेड का पोजीशन क्या होना चाहिए, और छठवां तुम्हारा शोल्डर एकदम रिलैक्स होना चाहिए, है ना? तो ये 6-7 चीजें होती हैं टोटल, जो कि तुम एक साथ सारी नहीं डाल सकते। तो पहले तुम एक चीज इंट्रोड्यूस करो। सबसे पहला होता है कि रन करना, पहले तो रन ही करो।
That's the most important thing. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Run.
उसके बाद सही लगता है, उसके बाद आई वुड सजेस्ट फोकस ऑन योर ब्रीदिंग, है ना, क्योंकि अगर ब्रीदिंग बड़ी अच्छी होगी तो फिर तुम्हारा रनिंग ड्यूरेशन भी अच्छा होगा और यू विल स्टार्ट फीलिंग गुड अबाउट इट. सो यू नीड टू स्टार्ट फील गुड फर्स्ट. ठीक है, फिर उसके बाद धीरे धीरे चीजों को उसमें ऐड करो.
Great. Thank you. Chaitanya, sorry, I had to mute your mic because there was some background noise. You asked a great question. So, yeah, I think we can conclude.
Now, sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to share one more thing which I missed earlier. Again, just my personal experience with everyone, and everyone feels different. But like I said, right, I never even thought that I could run a marathon. Never even in my dreams, not even half marathon. I never thought about that.
Right.
So it was definitely an impossible target for me, or something impossible that one can do. But when I did that, when I did my first marathon, after that I felt, obviously it was true, that I did something which was impossible for me. It gave me a different kind of mental strength, you know. So I was able to at least do one impossible thing which was for me.
Yeah.
And after that, I don't feel that most of the things are actually impossible.
Yeah.
Other things which I feel now are impossible for me are impossible because I'm not going for those, I'm not doing those. But if I want to, if I can really aim to do that, I should be able to do that. So that's a mental strength that I have got. It's a whole mindset change, by the way, right? Which I practically have gone through, and I feel it's very important. It has definitely given me a lot of strength and a lot of different perspective, I would say.
Yeah.
So I thought of sharing that. It is, and it could be anything for you all, but something to think about, which you can keep for the life.
That's a very good point, Ballu. I think that comes. I mean, same thing. I mean, I have a same experience. When I started, I was not a runner. I mean, लोग सोचते हैं कि when they are doing it, they try to imitate their teenager self. I was a very, dumb guy back then. I never did anything. I was never in any sports. ठीक है, तो the thing was, I had never anything to compare it with. So that was a good thing, I think. So when I started, as I said, I mean, I was back in Rhode Island. I was doing 1 mile, 2 mile. I was very happy, and then I slowly started increasing. And then when we moved to Atlanta, and when my batchmate, you need to have a good batchmate. And I mean, they slap you all the time, and that's a sign of good batchmate. So one of my batchmate, he encouraged me for running marathon. Then he encouraged me to go in strength training. Right, and that's a best thing happened. And the thing is, after that, my mindset changed. Before that, I was hesitant that any new thing, I was not taking it up. The reason for that was I was afraid that what if I don't succeed? Now, after doing all these things, after running and taking it in a proper way, after getting into strength training, after learning about nutrition, the way I approached all these, I just used what I did for my running, a methodical approach. And I knew that it's going to work because it already worked for me in running.
Yeah.
And running mainly the endurance part of it.
I think you both said it very well. And the word methodical that you mentioned is very important. And this talk is actually serving the purpose for some of us who will be doing it. And Balraj, you mentioned impossible. So if you break the word impossible, it becomes I am possible.
Yes.
So the key is in that only. And I think you have shown the way. So good job. And with that, let me conclude. And also all the best to Ashutosh. I think you are running 100 kilometers, right? So all the best for that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, Ashutosh, congratulations for taking it up first. And then good luck for doing, good luck for the race.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'll stop recording. We can continue that meeting, but I'll stop recording so that it gets prepared and we can post it. So I'm stopping recording now.